welcome to Kachoza Live. Alright, so are you still telling us about your experience in Nigeria?
Yeah, Nigerians, they accepted me as one of their own, and it's a beautiful thing because I performed in more than 10 states. The first ever non-Nigerian to do that in the world. Yeah, and I performed in like their Nakapiripirit. Local, like they speak only their language. But when I come on stage, I don't know what happened. Somehow, they accept me. So it's been a beautiful thing, and I thank God for it.
Okay.
Yeah, so Nigeria, that one. But I've been to other countries. I've been to Mauritius, I've been to South Africa, Kenya, Ghana, the UK, America.
So in all that traveling to so many countries, seeing their type of comedy.
Yeah.
What do you feel like is missing in Uganda?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Just professionalism and support from each other. You see, Ugandans, it's like we don't want to see others succeed. You understand? They love in Nigeria. If I had it here in Uganda, I wouldn't travel. But the problem, first of all, most Ugandans think they can do what you do. Every Ugandan is a celebrity because they're on social media and they can post something and then they get thousands of likes. So when you say something positive, somebody wants to say you can't do it. There's no support system. You understand? It is really bad that even when it comes, that's why we have stories of beef. Oh, this one is beefing this one. Nigerians, we hear, oh, Davido and Wizkid are beefing.
But behind
at the end of the Christmas Day, they're on the same stage. You understand? We don't have to be friends. But that does not stop us from working together. That is the problem with Ugandans. Someone can hate you and they don't know you. They hate you because they had somebody say something bad about you. That is where our biggest problem is. Okay. You understand? I took a picture with the president recently. People don't know me, but they saw the picture and they hated me. You understand? Oh, Atuli Demolukwe, did I have a contract with anyone?
No, you didn't.
You understand? So people just assumed, first of all, they assumed I was paid. And I told them, you show me the receipts. There's evidence that I was paid. People have been paid and you see their cars. They're driving around in the cars, they have money in sacks and be cheap. Show me any time I've ever done that. But they don't want to listen. Why? Because it's in them. It's the bad man mentality of Ugandans. That when we hate something, we lose our sense of reason and logic. To say, you know what? Okay, let me ask myself. I don't know this guy. What if I asked him, really, did you get money? All we go is bandwagon effect. Yeah. Whoop.
Okay. So that's going to lead me to the thing that has been trending right now, social media bullying.
Yes.
What is your take on it, first of all?
Talking about the social media bullying, that one, and I'm glad the subject came up because it's what is trending now. Yeah? It's what is trending, and so many people have actually been affected by it. We take things for granted. It's not until it happens to you that when you realize the intensity. Somebody openly said, you are in the public figure. We have a right to air our opinion about you. No, you don't. You do not have a right. You understand? I am not a public figure because I want my life to be judged by the public. I'm a public figure because I have been blessed. There's something about me that people have gotten interest in. I inspire a couple of people. Not that I'm putting my life out there for you to judge and for you to be judge, jury, and executioner. No, that is very, very wrong. You have no right whatsoever to tell me how I should live my life, the things I should do, my good. Yes, you have your opinion. That is very right. But do not impose it on me. Because I'm a human being, I also have my opinion.
But people will say that it's my account, I can type whatever I want.
Yes, you can type whatever, but how is it helping you? Abusing me, how is it helping you?
Well, people
is it going to make you wake up in the morning and say, oh, my account is loaded because I abused Salvador? What is it doing to build you as an individual?
Well,
and what is it doing to break the other person you're talking about? It's doing a lot. This is a person who has a family, who has children, who has a wife, who has people to look after. And you're breaking them because you're not happy with your life. People who bully on social media, it's not that they hate you. They hate themselves. They see in you what they should have been in them. So they take all their frustration on you. And when they abuse you and people comment and say, Ochoge day, they go back home and justify themselves and say, Kasta, naiva muvuma. It's not because you're doing something wrong. No. It's because you're doing 10 things better than what they were doing at that age. You understand? And if you notice, most people who come on social media to troll are younger than you. I mean, are older than you. They feel, why you? Why not me? That is the biggest question of Ugandans. Instead of asking how did you achieve what you have, they say why did you achieve what you have.
But do you think this is about to stop?
It's not going to end. It's not going to end.
So
but
how do we deal with it?
Hey, the law is now at least coming into place. There are those minor ones that shouldn't get to you, useless ones. But if somebody has a platform with a big following, they are on TV, they are on radio, and then they troll, they cyberbully you, where thousands of people are going to listen, that becomes something different. But a guy who has 100 followers on Twitter and abuses you, you just look. Because it is him and his 100 followers who are going to celebrate, yo, Tumufumi. But are they going to wake up with a changed bank account? No. Are you going to wake up with a changed bank account? Yes. You understand? I've been for joining Sanyu FM. Hey, people abused me. Oh, who is he? What is he going to do? We don't want to comedy. Go. My account is counting. For them, they are losing data, abusing.
Let's talk about Sanyu FM. How has it been so far? The experience. I mean, the post that you got into is quite a big post.
Yes.
So how has the experience been for you?
First of all, I don't look at it as a big post. I look at it like any other show. Because it's not the first time I'm doing radio. I've done radio before. It is the circumstances under which I joined. That's where the hit was. Not the show. The show is just like any other show. And right now we have changed the narrative. You understand? Because it's just a show. And I am a showman. It is my duty to have a show and direct people in the direction I want the show to go to. So if you are going to follow, you follow. If you are not, wait. Maybe another show will interest you. You understand? And right now we're on a good track. Because we have changed the narrative, everything is moving well. So it is under the circumstance I joined. You understand? It was not the normal, oh, we need you, we da-da-da-da-da. It was like crisis management, which we did very well. So those social media things were inevitable. They had to happen. Yeah. But when somebody just wakes up one morning and they look at you and they say, I do not like you, Esther, I don't like you. And then they start abusing you every day of their life. Then that is something personal. I've won over so many people criticized me on social media about the Sanyu FM thing. They are now sending me messages. We wake up on you. Because they have realized I'm living my life. I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
Exactly.
You understand? So that's how the whole narrative is.
Okay. So let me switch up a little. What have been your biggest achievements in comedy?
I'm yet to achieve my biggest achievement, but I'm proud that I've been able to sustain my family. I have a family. I've been able to sustain them. I've been able to take care of my parents, my brothers and my sisters who need my help. I've been able to help them. I've been dependable. I've been somebody who people have depended on and I've not let them down. So I am proud of that. That is, I think, one of the biggest achievements. All the accolades and the money and whatever comes, those are just things which come and go. But if the people, your circle, is happy because of what you're doing, that is nourishment enough for me.
Okay.
So that is my biggest achievement.
All right. So about last year, we got to know. Was it last year when you got a beauty? I must say, she's a beautiful woman.
Yes.
It was last year.
For 10 years.
10 years. But that you made it official
last year. Yes.
So there's a meme that I've always seen. How I'm not saying that you're ugly. I'm not saying you're ugly.
It's okay. You can say it. It doesn't matter.
But the meme
until I show you my wallet.
Well, not all of us are out of money, by the way.
It's a lie. Everyone is out of money.
Anyway, so the meme was the reason why beautiful women end up with ugly.
Yes, not good-looking men.
Not good-looking guys.
Yes.
Because good-looking guys have a way of, cracking them up, making them laugh. And most of the time that you're laughing, your eyes are closed. So you don't take time to see the person that you're with, and you fall in love just like that. Could this be a technique you use?
No. Sometimes people fall in love with character. You know,
But
the ugliest man in Uganda, the one we call the ugliest man in Uganda, has a wife.
Yeah, I know.
Sebavi, with 2 beautiful kids.
I have my
yeah, sometimes it's not about your looks, it's about the person inside you. You can see so many beautiful women out there, but with the character is terrible.
That's true.
If you look at so many single people slaying on social media, I'm this, I'm that, I'm the most... Are they married? No. The people with the best advice about relationships, the singers, do they have husbands? No. It is the people like us. We sell character. We don't sell good looks and everything.
Okay, so what was unique about her in particular? Because
the conversation I had with her, our first conversation, was enough.
That was it.
Yeah, it's that which made me realize that this one is somebody I can have a conversation with over time. It wasn't the beauty. The beauty I've seen. I've seen beauty. I've seen body. I've seen things. But if your character is bad, that's it.
Okay, so you've not had troubles, threats. I mean, you're in the public eye, and like you said, you have the money, so many girls would want to approach you and...
No, of course that is inevitable. Many girls would want to, but you have to keep your eye on the goal. It's not like there are no men there who are not after my wife. There are very many. Yeah, so I'm concentrating most of my energy in making sure I don't leave a reason for another man to make her happy.
Okay.
I do everything for my wife. So that another man does not find a reason
to make her happy. So what do you think she liked about you?
My character.
Your character?
Yes.
And you also like
And I'll be honest with you, I'm a good guy.
Yeah, you are.
That one I can say for sure. I'm a nice guy.
What is nice about you, for the people that don't know you?
I understand people's situation. I've lived both the rich, the middle, and the poor. And when I say poor, I mean extreme poverty. So I know where everybody comes from when they are making their decisions. That's why I can easily fit in any of the 3 societies, any of the 4 societies. Yeah. I don't judge people based on the way they do their things. I am in one of the richest groups in Uganda. The people there, their net worth is in billions. But I've never asked any of them for a loan, over help me, I'm suffering, over this. You understand? And I've been in a class where there's so many poor people. But I've never put myself in a position of being their chairman. Their leader of association. Even me, I'll listen to them. Hey, we now can say, hey, what okay, me now 2 years, let's 2 years with it. So that they know, yes, he's doing well, but he also understands us. He doesn't show off. When we're eating portion beans, he's eating portion beans.
Okay. Yeah. So, what is Salvador, the man of Mbokolo? What are you in your free time? What do you do? How do you spend your free time?
Now that I have a radio job, most of the time I do research. Yeah, because you know you have to sound fresh. I'm learning new things every day. Yeah, because the breakfast show is not like any other show. You need to be super informed. And being the lead presenter, you have to be the one in charge.
Of course.
Before I was the host, the co-host, I would even come at an hour late for the show, and nobody would realize. They would think I was just quiet on purpose because the person on the lead is already there. You understand? So me, I would just come and join in. No need for research. No need for what. All I had to do was to bounce off her research. When she says, by the way, did you know yesterday there was a man, now, for example, there's a story, there was a man who was kicked in the private parts in Mukono, and this is a true story, by a Chinese, they work in the public. It's actually funny because, it's sad because the guy was in pain. But the funny part is he refused to be discharged.
Why?
Because he was getting therapy. The nurse was treating him very nicely. So they told the man, we have discharged. He said, hold on.
Wait.
So you see, it is a sad but also funny thing. So if for example I had a lead presenter, the lead presenter would actually tell the actual story, then me I would come in with the job.
So in that case, how did you come in?
I was the host and also the comedian at the same time. You understand? So that is a very, very hard thing to execute, where you are the serious guy and at the same time the sad guy, the guy who's going to the guy who's going to break the ice. Yeah. So you have to know how to balance the two.
So
and it's not very
easy.
Exactly.
Okay. So I'm left with just a few questions.
Yeah.
One of them is, who are the people that you've been looking up to in the industry of comedy, I must say?
The one guy who inspired me the most, who made me believe I can do this, was Pablo.
Oh.
I always say this and people think I just want to praise him. But if you look at the history of comedy, stand-up comedy in Uganda, this guy held the flag single-handedly for 6 years before we joined. You understand? He's the one who made people easily adopt to the new style of comedy. So he's my biggest inspiration.
Is he still?
Yeah, he still is. Yeah, I always mention him in all my interviews. This is my biggest inspiration because he's never changed his true character. He's never changed who he is because of fame, money, and this is the guy who was his money. Then Amoti.
Oh.
Those are the two guys. I feel offended when there is an award ceremony and the two are categorized. Let's say best comedian of the year, by one. I feel very offended. These guys should be getting legendary awards.
So, if we were to have a hierarchy, where would you fall? You as you?
Number 3.
You're number 3. Pablo Amoti, then you?
Yes, either Pablo Amoti or Amoti Pablo. But me, I'm number 3.
Okay. All right. So, lastly.
Yes.
What would be the advice for young people? People who have seen you, they have seen you do big things in comedy. Yeah. And some of them could be interested, some of them may have the talent, but they don't know how to actually approach the comedy thing.
Like I said, if money is your biggest motivation, you are bound to fail. But if passion is what drives you, not even the sky is the limit.
Okay.
Unfortunately, people are looking at us on TV, we are joining radio, and they're like, I want to be like him. Don't be like me, be better than me. But the only way you can do that is if because if you want to be like me, you're going to use my life. The one you know, he has a beautiful wife, he has a car.
The one that they've seen on
That's the one they see on TV. That's the beautiful, he has a car, and then he does jokes about Ombokolo, and then he walks like this, and then, I want to be like that. They don't know I was the guy who did 1 hour of a show and I go to beer. They don't know that I used to walk from Mutungu to Ifendis. They don't know I was almost fired from my job. They don't know I did one of the biggest shows, Miss Uganda, and I was paid with thank you.
Are you serious?
They don't know that I did street jams for about 3 years for entrance fee. That the only payment was me entering. Then I would perform. Hosted Biniman, hosted Sean Paul, hosted word of mouth. We shall pay you, we shall give you exposure. They don't know that I've been paid by exposure for over 10 years. They don't know that.
So what about the people that complain about that 50K? You had the stories.
You see, the issue, the thing of 50K, yes, the conversation was actually very valid. But how she brought it up was not. And we still had this conversation with her. Over time, I like the fact that she came out to fight for the presenters. Yeah? But at the end of the day, it also falls on you. You sit down with the person going to hire you. You have a contract. Once you sign it, you have agreed to be used. So if they are paying you less, don't complain until that contract is over. And you're renewing.
The reason why I brought it up is because you were talking about exposure, and so many people get into media
for exposure. Yeah, if that's your payment, accept it, accommodate it, because that's what you've signed up for. You understand? You cannot just wake up one morning and say, I have brought traffic. People are now watching. They need to change. Unless the clause was there in the what? In the contract, that if after a year I bring this number of people, we renegotiate. But if it's not there, you said be humble, let your contract end, and then renegotiate new terms. Yes. It is how you sell yourself. What do you value yourself?
I see.
Simple and clear. So if you're 50K,
they'll give you
50K. Even if the station is making 10 billions of shillings from you, if for you agreed that me, 50K can call it that.
That's it. You still failed to give us a joke, at least for the ending.
No, I'm not going to.
Why?
Who's going to pay for it?
How much is one job?
You see what? This is the thing.
Okay, how much is it?
Let me, for example, when I go abroad, I perform for 10 minutes. They pay me about $5,000. Do the math. Because of it.
I think I guess, well, I don't have dollars on me, but so I think we don't have any jokes for us today.
No jokes. Just you go and Google, get a clip, insert it there. There's no copyright. I have given you all the rights.
Okay, fine. All right, thank you so much.
Pleasure.
Yeah, as you see, we had a really great time with the man from Mombokolo. I hope you guys have learned something from him. I mean, his story is quite inspiring. So if you are a young person that wants to join comedy or wants to, be affiliated to comedy, I think this is an interview that you don't have to miss out. It's been Esther Kachosa. Stay tuned. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell button, like, comment, and share. We bring to you your celebrity's lifestyle, drama, and of course what is behind his success story or her success story. We have a special challenge for them. You just have to subscribe, hit the bell button, like, comment, and share.